There are 10 million Facebook groups out there and 1.18 billion people using them every single month. But is a Facebook group the right choice for you and your community? Well, that's what we're going to dig into inside of this video. Now, I'm going to evaluate Facebook in 5 key areas. I want to talk about features, ease of use, setup, analytics, and price. But I also want to talk about one particular element of Facebook groups that is particularly unique and very, very interesting to consider for your community. Now, let's start out by talking about features. Now, it'll be easy to assume that Facebook groups are a little bit simplistic because they are, after all, just a component of Facebook itself. However, Facebook groups actually have a slate of really cool, neat features. And I want to walk through the most important features that you should know about. And the last one is particularly useful in pulling people back into your community. So the first feature I want to talk about is the news feed. Now, the way in which community platforms present information to users varies. If you go to a forum, you will typically see a list of discussions. When you click on each discussion, it takes you into the messages within that discussion. In a chat channel such as Slack or Discord, you'll typically see a list of channels. You'll click on the channel and you'll see the conversation going on in there. But with a Facebook group, what you see is something very similar to a typical Facebook profile. You see a news feed with a bunch of different posts, and the newest posts appear at the top. Now, you're probably familiar with how Facebook works. You can post text and pictures and videos, and people can like those posts and they can have comments within those posts. But part of the reason why this works so well is because psychologically, every time we go back to a Facebook group, all the hot new stuff appears at the top, and you get this incredibly rewarding sensation every time you go in there. You don't have to dig to find the good stuff. Now, the second feature I want to talk about here is the built-in support for running different types of events. Now, when building any kind of community, you want to try and get your members together to exchange as much body language as possible. Now, the best way to exchange body language is in person, to stand in the same room and have a conversation with somebody. But also, Facebook groups make it really easy to organize and run online events, whether you're doing webinars and training sessions and community meetups or hackathons or bug squashing parties. All of these things are possible with a Facebook group. Now, another amazing feature in Facebook are badges. Now, badges are a really effective way of triggering different types of responses depending on what your community members are doing. And for many years, badging platforms have existed, but they've been a little bit of a pain to put together and they're a bit complicated, and gamification as a topic is pretty complicated. But Facebook groups make it really easy to assign badges to people and to recognize and to reward people and to detect different types of participation that people are going to be having within your group as well. So this badging support in Facebook groups is not just about the badge, it's also about the detection of what your community members are doing, and it's really, really streamlined. Now, one of the things I love about Facebook groups is all of this is just a click away. You don't have to go into some super complicated administration interface. It's really easy to switch these different things on and off. Now, earlier on when I started talking about features, I said that the last one that I was going to talk about is particularly helpful in pulling people back into your community. This is what I want to talk about right now. And this is going to seem really simple, but it's really, really powerful. And that is notifications. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking every community platform's got notifications, right? What's the big deal? Well, I'll tell you what the big deal is. There are 3 billion people on Facebook. So there's a reasonably good likelihood that the community members who have not joined your community yet are on Facebook. And when they join your Facebook group and there are new posts and events and things that might be of interest to them, they appear in their normal Facebook notifications tray. Now, this is huge because one of the challenges with forums and with chat channels and other types of community platforms is there can be amazing things going on that platform, but people need to remember to go back and check them out or to be pulled back in. But here's the caveat. Not everybody in your target audience is likely to be on Facebook, and not everybody is going to think about your community within the context of Facebook. And this rather neatly leads us on to ease of use. So the executive summary is that Facebook groups are super easy to use, whether you are administrating a group, whether you are moderating a group, or whether you are just being a member of that group. It's really easy to use all the way around. But even though there are 3 billion people on Facebook, not everybody in every community is going to be on Facebook. In other words, you need to decide whether your target community members are likely to have a Facebook account and likely to be checking it every single day, because if they're not on Facebook, Facebook groups probably aren't the right choice for you. But let me illustrate this with some example community audiences where Facebook is likely to be a place they're already hanging out and where Facebook groups might be a good choice for them. So this would include casual gamers, consumer groups, consumer product groups, support groups such as health and wellness, interest groups such as sports and music groups. And the one thing that kind of threads through all of these is they are very consumer orientated. They're the kind of places where most of your family members would be happy to go and hang out because a whole chunk of your family is probably already on Facebook. Now, there are some community audiences where you cannot assume that they're going to have a Facebook account, either because they're just not interested in Facebook or because they have some kind of frustration or objection to using Facebook in the first place. Now, examples of these kinds of audiences could include developers and technical people, enterprise businesses, pro gamers, and users who are particularly conscious of privacy. With each of these different audiences, you cannot assume that they've got a Facebook account, and for some of these audiences, they will object to using Facebook in the first place. Now, let's be honest, Facebook has had a bit of a tattered history when it comes to privacy, and also whether social media in itself is a healthy way in which people kind of connect and engage with each other. So the key question to ask here is, are my target community members likely to be already using Facebook? If the answer to that question is yes, then you should absolutely consider Facebook groups as your community platform. Now, if you want to build an amazing community around your product or service, you want to build consistent growth and engagement, you should totally check out my community leadership core Accelerator. So we provide hands-on coaching, training, and accountability. It's all tailored directly to your company, and it helps you to deliver really clear, consistent results every single quarter with way less stress and anxiety. If you're interested in this, check out the link in the video description down there, where you can book a call with us and we'll listen to what you want to achieve, what some of the challenges you're having, and we'll provide you some really concrete next steps inside of that call. Now let's talk about setup. How easy is it to spin up a Facebook group and get started? Now this is going to be a pretty quick section because Facebook groups are basically available to anyone on Facebook, and setting one up is as simple as going to the group section of Facebook and starting a new group. But like with any community platform, you're going to want to take some time to learn the different features that are available in Facebook groups, learn how to switch them on and how to expose them to your community members, and how to get people engaging and participating together. Now, when it comes to spinning up the Facebook group and making these different features available, I'd say it's about one of the easiest platforms to use in the world, but it is not going to build your community for you. It is not going to do the community management for you. It's not going to create the content for you. It's not going to create the events for you. So make sure you go into this with the right set of expectations. So let's now talk about analytics. Now, analytics are where you can see data and information about what's going on inside of your community, so it helps you to make good decisions about what you should do next. Now, the analytics in Facebook groups are pretty good. They're not the best in the world, but Facebook groups give you pretty much everything you're gonna need. And as part of these analytics, you can get a sense of the most active members of your Facebook group too. For example, you can go and take a look at your top contributors. These are the most active, engaged members of your Facebook group, and these are the kind of people you're gonna wanna recognize and reward and really build a tight relationship with. You can also go and take a look at your top admins and your top contributors, people who are showing up every single day to maintain and grow your group effectively. And you can also get a sense of your top group experts. Now, experts are recognized members of your group that have got particular types of subject matter expertise. And this is really particularly helpful in providing different types of support and guidance to your overall community members. So overall, Facebook group analytics are pretty good. They're not the most comprehensive in the world. There are other platforms that do more, but one, they are accurate. I've worked with a number of other community platforms where, frankly, the data is garbage and you can't really rely on it. But two, Facebook group analytics give you most of what you're going to need to make good decisions about how to grow and optimize your community. And I just want to take a quick sidebar here to emphasize something that's really important, is whether you are building a community on a Facebook group or whether you're building a community on a forum or a chat service, the way in which we build and deliver amazing results is we experiment with lots of different ways of adding value to our members. We look at the data and then we make decisions about next steps based upon the data that we see. So let's now talk about price. How much does it cost to register, set up, and run a Facebook group? And you probably already know this, but Facebook groups are completely free. They're available to every Facebook user, but they're not really completely free. Now, they may be free in the sense that you don't have to hand over any cold hard cash to use them, but fundamentally, Facebook groups live within Facebook, and Facebook itself is a walled garden. Now, what a walled garden means is that a company, in this case Meta, basically can control every element of how Facebook groups and Facebook itself work and operate. So for example, imagine you've got a Facebook group and you and your community love a particular feature inside of that Facebook group, but Meta have decided that it doesn't really make any sense to maintain that feature because not many people are using it. Well, Meta can just decide, as part of their walled garden, to just switch it off. And this applies to any element of Facebook groups. They can just go ahead and do it. It's their walled garden. So you just kind of got to go into this with your eyes open. If you're willing to make the trade-off, the fact that you're going to be in a walled garden, but you're going to get all of these benefits and features for free, and your target community is likely to be on Facebook, then Facebook groups were a pretty compelling choice. Now, before we get into my final conclusion about Facebook groups, I do want to talk about one bonus element that we've not really talked about very much in this video that is super compelling, and that is Facebook Lives. Now, Facebook Live is an enormously powerful feature inside of Facebook and, by extension, Facebook groups, where anybody can run a live stream. So you're probably familiar with YouTube Live and Twitch and things like that, where you can do all of that right within your Facebook group. Now, what's really neat about Facebook Live is that it's a really pretty mature feature. You can just spin up a Facebook Live now if you want to with your phone or with your computer, or you could schedule a Facebook Live in the future and people can go and register for it and they'll be able to just access it from within their browser. And what's really awesome about Facebook Lives is that it's a super interactive experience with your viewers. What's also cool about Facebook Live is that you can use tools like OBS and Ecamm Live to create broadcast quality streams. So you can combine together different cameras and screen sharing and audio and overlays and captions and all kinds of neat things. So it really looks kind of like a TV show. Now, what's so compelling about this is that this is wired directly into Facebook and Facebook groups. So if you decide to do a Facebook Live session and somebody is on Facebook and they're a member of your Facebook group, that live's going to pop up in their notification tray. They can click on it and now they're in a live stream with you. And that's where you can build a really awesome relationship with your members. So, what's my conclusion when it comes to Facebook groups, and are they the right choice for you? Well, I would say this. If you have a target audience that likely is already using Facebook, if you want a simple platform to spin up a community, and if you are comfortable being inside somebody else's walled garden, knowing that Meta may kind of change the goalposts on you at some point in the future, if you're comfortable with all of that, then Facebook groups are a really, really compelling choice. However, if you can't guarantee that the vast majority of your target community members are already on Facebook, and if you want to make sure that you've got complete control over your community infrastructure and you don't want the rug pulled out from you at some point in the future, then I would not recommend going with a Facebook group. In that situation, I'd recommend exploring other platforms such as forum platforms like Discourse or chat platforms like Slack or Discord. And I have other videos on my channel where I walk through the benefits and disadvantages of those different platforms. So, hopefully that was useful. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you using the Facebook group? Are there things that I didn't cover inside of this video that you think I should have covered? Are there areas where you disagree with me? I'd love to have an open, thoughtful, comprehensive discussion inside of the comments, because look, we're all learning, we're all growing, it includes me as well. But thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.